So here we are in the first week of June. How are the markets doing? We're going to talk about the van division, the reefer division, and the flatbed division. We'll talk about the national average per mile right now. We'll compare it to May, and we'll also talk about how the brokerage division is doing versus how the dispatchers are doing. I'll tell you a little bit about what I feel is happening in the market based on our brokerage division and also based on our van reefer division. So let's get into it. So national average right now for the month of June, first 5 days, today is June 5th. First 5 days of June, the national average for the van division is currently sitting at $2.03 per mile. Now, when we compare it to May finished off at $2.02 per mile. So $2.03 per mile is where we are right now in the van division for the first 5 days of June. Now, it is a good sign, at least, that it started off with a little bit higher than May. Anything better than May and anything better than April is considered to be good. Obviously, it's nothing to compare to where we were, 2 years ago and 18 months ago. But it is a good sign of life that we're starting off at a little bit higher, that the rates are starting to climb up. If we start seeing a growth from here moving forward, we will all be in a really good shape in about 4 or 5 months. But first week of June, we got $2.03 per mile as a national average. At $2.03 per mile, do I think an owner-operator comes in at a loss? Probably, I would say the break-even point right now is about $1.95 to $1.98 would be a break-even point with today's rates. So yes, we're still at a profit, but a very, very minimal profit. Now let's head into the reefer division. So in the reefer division, for the first 5 days of June, the national average is currently sitting at $2.41 per mile. It actually is 1 cent lower than May. $2.41 for the reefer division. Yes, you are profitable, and the last 2 months, May and June, have been the best rates that we've seen in a long time. So you can see here that in March it was $2.36 per mile. In April it was $2.33 per mile. In May, it's $2.42 per mile, and June, currently right now, the first 5 days is sitting at $2.41 per mile as a national average. Now, I actually think that this number is going to come up a little bit as we get into June, definitely the produce season, but let's see how we're doing in comparison to this time last year. So guys, when we compare the reefer rates from this time right now to last year, we're still at 1.8% lower than we were at last year. Okay, we're not as good as where we were last year, but we are almost there. We're equivalent to the rates. Hopefully from here moving forward, it's only going to go up. Now let's get into the flatbed division. So the flatbed division is still, you can see it's still increasing month over month. So when we look at the flatbed division, when we look at March, April, May, June, now June, every single month, even though it's a cent or 2 cents higher, but it's still in the right direction and it's going up. So right now, currently, the national average for the flatbed division is $2.54. As you know, June, July, August is construction season. And then winter usually is when all the construction kind of dies down and the rates start to tumble. But the next 3 months are going to be good months for the flatbed division. When we compare right now, June 2024 to June 2023, we're actually 5% lower than where we were this time last year. So we're actually doing worse in the flatbed division than where we were this time last year. Now guys, let's talk a little bit about the national average for fuel. Okay, so currently we're at $3.73 per gallon as a national average for fuel. Week over week, we're pretty much almost at the same as where we were last week. But these fuel prices look a lot more attractive. I remember reporting when it was $4 a gallon, $4.50 a gallon, $5. I've even reported on $5.50 per gallon. So currently being at $3.73 per gallon is a nice, that's pretty much the only good news right now that we have. Aside from the fact that we went up by a couple of cents for the month of June in the van division, but pretty much, the fuel is really the only thing that we have to look forward to that's on a positive note, that it is starting to come down. Asset side, I see that the contracts are still renewing with the manufacturing plants, our contracts, but they are renewing at a lower rate. So if, for example, last year we had a contract at $2.50 per mile, today we're renewing those same contracts at $2.25 per mile. I love the fact that our customers are loyal to us. They pretty much tell us, in the last round of the bidding of the RFP, they will tell us, hey guys, we have, 3 carriers that are going to outperform you. Because you were our carrier last year, we're giving you the ability to match other people's rates. And that's really all I can ask for from our customers. So obviously I wouldn't lose a customer the 20 or 25 cents per mile, because I really need these customers, and year over year they've been with us. And we want to grow with them. On the brokerage side, I definitely see that, when brokers are brokering out loads, it is harder and harder to to find carriers and good, reliable carriers. So that's definitely something, I have weekly meetings with the brokerage division, with our account reps, and they're all saying the exact same thing. To find good carriers is hard. Now guys, just a reminder for everybody out there, if you're a small fleet owner and you've been a victim of double brokering, which means somebody gave you a load and they didn't end up paying you for it, I created a template for you to be able to go after both the shippers and the receivers legally. So if you click the link below, it is called the Freight Bill Collections Toolkit. Okay, so what it is basically all my templates and emails that I use if I am a victim of double brokering. If somebody gave me a load or falsely gave me a load, or ended up shutting their doors or closed down, if a brokerage firm closed down, I have the legal right to go after the shipper and the receiver, and I will willing to teach all of you guys out there. So if you're a small fleet owner and you have outstanding invoices and you cannot collect from a brokerage company, let me show you how to go after the shippers and the receivers to get paid so you guys don't go out of business. Hopefully you learned something from this video. I'm Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next one.